A fascinating story about a haunted castle, Bruce Castle's haunted history, the London Manor where a lady's ghost appears every year. London is home to many famous landmarks and locations that have a haunted reputation, but the story of Bruce Castle's ghost that is said to make an eerie visit every November certainly gives visitors chills. Now, there are various haunted houses in the UK. A lot of them are, of course, sold way below market. And I know of a young lady that has bought a house there outside of London, about half an hour outside of London. I won't say the location because it's the manor house on top of a hill of the city, of a town there. And it turned out to be haunted with demonic entities. I mean, you know, they had to bring a Christian Orthodox priest to be doing the holy water purification of the house every month, and it was still going on. But anyway, concerning this, the Bruce Castle haunting and Lady Constantina Lucy and her husband. What's the story behind this thing? He locked her up there. Situated in the North London town of Tottenham, it's a 16th century manor originally known as Lordship House. It was once home to Lady Constantina Lucy. The mysterious circumstance of how her ladyship met her end is still widely speculated by historians and, of course, ghost hunters even today. What is certain is that she was married to Henry Hare, the second Lord Coleraine, who inherited Bruce Castle after his father died, choking on a turkey bone of all things. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Of course, it's okay. This castle is not small, as you can see. It's pretty big. Now, over time, the marriage was said not to be a happy one, and after growing tired of his young wife, Lord Coleraine had Lady Constantina Lucy locked away at the top of the family home. Over time, their relationship gradually, of course, got worse, and she was allegedly locked away under the clock tower in a small room. Okay, so the clock tower, as we can see, is in the middle, basically over the entrance. Now, unhappy with her miserable confinement, Lady Constantina Lucy jumped off the balcony with her child, killing both of them, it said. That's what the story says. Although the year of her death is 1680, there are no records to prove that she was buried in All Hallowed Church's parish registers, despite other burials from this time period being recorded there. So what happened to her? The first time Lady Constantina Lucy's spirit was documented and sighted around Bruce Castle was almost 200 years later, after she had died, in the Tottenham and Edmonton Advertiser. Extracts from the historic newspaper report published March 1858 that an Indian officer asked a lady from Tottenham visiting the Grade 1 listed building if they knew of the ghost of Bruce Castle. It tells readers that on the night of the anniversary where her ladyship died around November, a wild form can be seen as she stood on the fatal parapet, and her despairing cry is heard floating away in the autumnal blast. Despite the infamous paranormal activity being a less-known ghost story within the UK, Bruce House today now operates as a museum where guests can take a tour around the grounds. You are free to enter as a visitor, and you can view the exhibition dedicated to Tottenham-born artist Beatrice Offer. It showcases her artwork alongside recently discovered paintings. Visitors can also discover how Bruce Castle was named after Scottish Royal House of Bruce, transforming from a medieval abode to an all-boys school. And now more of the history of this. In 1514, the site was owned by Sir William Compton. He was a close friend of Henry VIII and held the highest position in the King's Court as groom of the bedchamber. Compton probably owned a simple courtyard house here, and some of the bricks from his house may survive in this present building. The round tower was built at the time, constructed of narrow red bricks made from local clay. The main fabric of the tower is made up of original Tudor bricks, and its walls are 3 feet thick. Nearby, at the original Tottenham Parish Church of All Hallows, the Tudor porch has similar molded or castellated brick ornament, and the original purpose of the round tower is unknown. Current belief is that it may have been used for falconry, falconry, they used to have the falcons going hunting, falconry as hawk's mews, a place to rear young birds for hunting. In 1705, the second Lord Coleraine was writing about the history of Tottenham. Even he knew nothing about the tower, saying in respect of its great antiquity, more than conveniency, he said, "I kept the old brick tower in good repair, although I'm not able to discover the founder thereof." Now, in 1626, the house and land was owned by Hugh Hare, the first Lord of Coleraine, 1606 to 1667. Hugh Hare died a sudden and painful death in 1667 by choking on a turkey bone, being at supper one night and talking merrily with some gentlemen of his acquaintance and having a turkey bone in his mouth. It was hard hap through extreme laughter to cause it to go down the wrong way, which was ye the instrument of his death, quote unquote. Okay, so that's basically the story of Bruce House. I'll leave links below for you for this. And this is also on Express UK by Hannah Hastings. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.